everybody. Today we are going to discuss an interesting topic, that is the history of space research, space vehicles and the achievements of mankind in space. We are planning to discuss this topic in mainly 4 parts. In today's section, we are going to unlock the quest for space and the evolution of space vehicles from the fire arrows to aircraft and missiles. First, we can start with the basics of development of space research. Are you ready to travel through space with me? Do you know that since antiquity, humankind has dreamed about launching a rocket to fly out of Earth's atmosphere and upward into space to the moon and beyond. However, only in the last half century have rockets and powerful engines have been developed to allow artificial satellites and humans to reach space. In the 1920s, the development of primitive rocket engines for propulsion opened up new opportunities for scientists and engineers to advance the space flight field. In the 1950s and 1960s, there were rapid advances in the design of rocket engines and reliable launch vehicles, allowing satellites and humans to reach orbit. Since then, humans have traveled into space and worked on the surface of the moon, launched thousands of satellites, many into deep space, and operated orbiting space station. Do you think that humans will likely return to the moon in this decade, colonize Mars with next decade, and reach other planets in the solar system within another 2 decades? Please comment yes or no in the comment section. The engineering challenges of reaching space should not be underestimated. First, overcoming Earth's gravity to reach space requires a velocity of at least 11.2 km per second, that is 25,020 miles per hour. Then, when reaching space, it is an incredibly harsh environment for humans. It is a vacuum with no air, extreme temperatures ranging from extreme cold to extreme heat, and harmful radiation, since there are no atmosphere layers to protect us. Distances are vast. The nearest star system to our solar system, that is the Alpha Centauri, is approximately 4.37 light years away from, that is roughly 41 trillion kilometers. The vastness of space and the universe as a whole is best summed up by a quote from the extraordinary scientist, astronomer and physicist, that is Dr. Carl Sagan. Even these stars, which seem so numerous, are as sand, as dust or less than dust in the enormity of space in which there is nothing. It is proven by the recent photograph of the Orion spacecraft as shown below, and eminently makes the point. All of what we are and what we know is just a speck of dust in the universe, and our existence has been just a momentary blip in the brief history of time. Now, the quest for space. Do you know who, when, where or how rocket was invented? If you know, post on the comment section. First, the invention of rockets. Rockets were invented in China in the 9th century during the Tang Dynasty, who ruled from 618 to 907 AD, not long after the discovery of gunpowder. They were first called fire arrows and were first employed as fireworks and weapons of war. This image shows same as for fire arrows. We also know about the great Mysorean rockets. It was the most advanced weapon of the 18th century. It was used by the great Indian ruler Tipu Sultan with his father Hyder Ali against the British East Indian Company during 1780s and 1790s. Now Jules Verne. Do you know about him? In his science fiction novels from 1816s, the novelist Jules Verne imagined rockets leaving the earth and landing on moon. There were several movies based on his novels, and his books popularized widespread interest in the potential for space flight. His famous space-related books were The Earth to Moon and Around the Moon. The concept of using a cannon to launch the spacecraft to moon was based more on creative storytelling than scientific feasibility. Now, rocket flight. Have you heard about liquid oxygen? The challenge in reaching into the higher atmosphere and space is that rocket engines must be designed to work in a vacuum. So the spacecraft, their power must carry fuel and an oxidizer, usually liquid oxygen, LOX. In 1903, in Russia, Konstantin published a technical paper in Russian about rocket flight titled The Exploration of Cosmic Space by Means of Reaction Device. Now, rockets using liquid fuel. Are you aware of who found rockets using liquid fuel? In the US in 1914, Robert Goddard received 2 patents, one for a rocket using liquid fuel and other for a stage or 3-stage rockets that used solid fuel. In 1919, he published a technical paper titled A Method of Reaching Extreme Altitudes. This paper influenced many workings in rocketry, including Hermann Oberth and a young Wernher von Braun, who was later to be part of NASA's rocket and spaceflight program. The given picture shows the blueprint of rockets found by Robert. Now, the achievements of Goddard. Are you aware of achievements of Robert Goddard? Goddard tested rocket engines in a vacuum chamber and built and flew the fastest successful liquid propellant rocket engine in 1926. By the mid-1930s, his rockets were flying at supersonic speeds and reaching heights of nearly 2 miles. Goddard's achievement in rocket propulsion significantly advanced a field of rocketry, and his work has a way to set down both the theoretical and practical foundation for the scientific exploration of space. For this reason, Robert Goddard often called the father of rocket propulsion. This image shows the Auckland Robert Goddard pictured in Syria in 1926 with the launching frame of the first liquid fueled rocket. Liquid rocket engine without coolant. You guess who fired up first rocket engine and comment in the comment section. Yes, it's Hermann Oberth. Other rocket pioneers include Hermann Oberth in Germany, who in 1929 fired up his first liquid fueled rocket engine. Although it lacked a cooling system, it operated successfully for a short time and can create massive amounts of thrust. However, historically, they have not always been as reliable as air-breathing engines because they must operate at extremely higher pressures and temperatures and are designed to produce large amount of thrust for relatively short periods. Now, powerful rockets. Have you heard about the German V2 rockets? By the late 1930s, powerful rockets had been developed and as long-range weapons, and several countries started ballistic missile programs. The German V2 rocket, it was one of the world's first long-guided ballistic missiles. It was used primarily against Allied targets in Western Europe, while thousands of V2 ballistic missiles were launched during World War II. They had poor guidance system and most missed their targets. Now, exploitation of V2 rockets engine components by engineers in USA. After World War II, engineers in the US exploited the V2's rocket engine components to help develop their rocket program by 1948. They launched a 2-stage rocket to an altitude of over 200 miles. Oberth's assistant was Wernher von Braun, who would become a leader in advancing the technology of rockets, and he was brought to the US after World War II along with other scientists as part of the Operation Paperclip. After developing ballistic missiles for the US Army, von Braun's group became part of NASA. Their work was instrumental in developing NASA's human space program, including the moon landings. Now, the invention of first liquid rocket engine with the coolant. Do you know who invented first liquid rocket engine with the coolant? Then comment in the comment section. Yes, it's James Hart. In 1936, James Hart built and tested the first regeneratively cooled liquid rocket engine, which used a double-walled rocket nozzle, allowing fuel to circulate as a coolant. Overheating was one of the major problems with early rocket engines, and that they become so hot when they become melted. With the regenerative system, the fuel circulates in a cooling jacket around the combustion chamber and expulsion nozzle before entering the combustion chamber, igniting it with the oxidizer. This design becomes so successful that it is the basis of nearly all modern liquid propellant rocket engines. In most contemporary designs, the rocket engine's nozzle uses main interwoven internal pipes or other coolant channels where the fuel is first pumped. Now, the X-15 aircraft. Have you heard about the famous American X-15 aircraft? Following the X-1 aircraft was the X-15 research rocket-powered aircraft, as shown below, which was flown 199 times from 1959 to 1968. This program gives much understanding of transonic, supersonic and hypersonic flight at the edges of Earth's atmosphere. Hypersonic flight is usually defined as airspeeds at more than Mach 5. The X-15 still holds the official world record for the highest speed ever recorded by a piloted powered aircraft at a speed of 4,519 miles per hour, that is 7,274 km per hour, or Mach 6.72 at 102 and 100 feet. The X-15 aircraft was set up in 1967. In the 1960s, this type of X-15 rocket-powered aircraft reached the edge of space and was used to collect valuable data for future aircraft and spacecraft designs. For upcoming parts of this video and to learn about space mission, the first steps to space and the space achievements of mankind in part 2, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell button to receive updates. Bye bye, we can see you in the next video.